Today on Farrell's Props, I show you how to make an archery arrow. Hey everyone! So if you didn't know, I have quite a large interest in archery. And I've decided that I want to make a new set of 12 arrows, so this is what I picked up from my local archery store. What I have here are several tools and products, and I'll just go over those really quick. So first up, we have these plastic archery nocks. These are fairly simply made, they're just small nocks, and they do require the shaft to be tapered. So here you can see I have the white plastic archery nock, and as you can see it is fairly simple. It simply just clips onto the string, and of course it does have to fit onto a tapered shaft. The next piece is this arrow taperer. This tapers the shaft with an 11-degree angle or a 15-degree angle. It really matters what you need, a nock or a tip. So here you can see I have the arrow taper, and it's fairly simple. I've actually marked off, you can see there's a little N and a T there, and that's for the nock and for the tip. And that's because both of those parts on a 5/16 inch dowel have a different degree to them. The next pieces are these arrow fletchings. These are fairly simple, and they're actually just made out of a vinyl rubber. It's actually the same stuff as electrical tape. So here you can see I have the arrow fletchings, and they are fairly simple. They're basically just pieces of electrical tape material. And they're pretty good. I've cut them out by hand, and these will be adhered to the arrow. The next piece is these archery field points. These are made out of hardened steel, from what I know, and they do have a screw thread, which I'm going to completely ignore and not use at all. So here you can see I have one of the field points out of the pack, and here you can see it's just been painted or anodized black, and it's a good weight. It's quite heavy, and it does obviously have the screw thread on the back. And one thing I do have to be careful with is that all of them are covered in an oil, and that actually prevents them from rusting. But this will be on the tip of each arrow. The next piece, or I guess tool, is this arrow fletcher. This allows you to evenly space 3 feathers or fletchings onto the arrow, each 120 degrees away from each other. I have a straight clamp, which means that the arrow will be straight on the shaft, and also have rings that will allow me to switch out the parts inside to make it so I can put 4 feathers instead of 3. So here's the fletching jig, and it's actually a pretty simple design. What you first have is a clamp that holds your feather, and then you have the piece that holds the arrow and allows you to rotate it to 120 degrees each time. This has to be adjusted for specific thicknesses of dowels and arrows, but once you have it set, you're done. The next material is these dowel rods. So here's the wooden dowel, and as you can see it's a straight wooden stick. And yeah, so there's the end. It's just a simple flat end, and then on the other end I do actually have a taper, and this is one of those nocks, and this is what I was trying to show you, is how it does require a taper to fit on. Without the taper it will simply not fit on the arrow. So now it's time to get building these arrows. I'm going to first start off by just simply tapering the end of all of them. And once I'm done that, I'm pretty sure I'm just going to super glue on these nocks, and then we'll get on to the fletching stage. So I decided that I'm going to show off the taper tool. Now it is a very simple tool, and I love the way that it works. So what you simply do is get your dowel, insert it into the taper, and rotate it, and it works exactly like a pencil sharpener. Except once you get to the very end, it actually stops you from sharpening. Here you can see once I get to the very end, I can't sharpen it any longer. It literally will not let me. And that's when you know you have a perfect taper on your arrows. So now that we have all of our shafts tapered, it's time to drill holes in them. I'm simply just going to be drilling a hole straight into the opposite end that the nock is going to be on, and this will be accepting our field tips. It's fairly simple as long as you start with a small bit and then move your way up to the actual size that you need. So here you can see I have all of the arrowheads in there, and the holes are actually quite a bit big, but I'm going to be super gluing those in, so it doesn't really matter. So now that I have all the tips on, except for one which kind of broke, oh well, at least I have 11 now. Now that I have all of those done, I'm going to be attaching the nocks onto the tapered ends. And these nocks are fairly simple. I actually got a couple extras. But now I guess I do have an extra because of this broken arrow. I guess I'll make something like a grapple arrow out of that one. But yeah, so I'm just going to be getting these very simply, just placing it on the end and adding a little bit of super glue. I don't want to make it so permanent that it'll snap if it gets hit too hard, but I don't want to put too little on so you can force it off with your hand. But yeah. So here you can see I have all of the arrows except for that awful one with their metal tips, plastic nocks, and I'm ready to fletch them. So I'm just going to put this into the fletcher, and just while I can show, there is this little nub. This is meant for your thumb to feel. This is so then you can never lose eye contact with whatever you're shooting at. That just helps you designate the side of the arrow. So all I'm going to do is very simply just get this, put the fletching up to this line that I've drawn, and just start gluing it on with some super glue. So yeah, I'll fletch the arrow. There you can see I've got one done, I've got two done, and I got all three. So here you can see, just over there, I have all of the arrows completely fletched, nocked, and tipped. These arrows are going to go great when I go to practice. And also, one more thing. I decided that I wasn't going to do much with the one that split, but then I decided I would try the 4-fletch feature on the fletching jig, and it works pretty good actually. Now, as you can see, just over here, I have all of the arrows done. Completely fletched. Yes? I'll be in there soon.